o'clock now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. This is election day around here. Voters in the 7th Congressional District have a choice between conservative Republican Matt Van Epps and progressive Democrat Afton Bain, who was asked by CNN if there is one Kamala Harris policy that she does not agree with.
Once again, policy positions are, I'm trying to make life more affordable for Tennesseans. I really haven't thought about it just because I've been so fixated on winning this race and trying to lower costs for Tennessee families.
Now, to be sure you're eligible to vote, if you haven't already done so, you can go check out govotetn.gov, the website there. Just fill in your address to find out if you can. Apparently, some voters are confusing Metro Council District 7 with Congressional District 7. It's been 8 months since a man was found dead from a drug overdose inside his apartment along Academy Place. Now in arrest, 49-year-old Jason Woods allegedly sold the drugs that killed 28-year-old Blake Fisher. Officials said that the medical examiner has ruled that Fisher's death was related to fentanyl toxicity. Woods is being held on second-degree murder charges. Lethal military strikes on drug-carrying vessels in the Caribbean getting more attention in Washington, D.C. now.
New questions about that second boat strike off the coast of Venezuela in September, targeting suspected drug traffickers. The Pentagon facing accusations of a war crime. According to the Washington Post, a second missile was targeting 2 survivors clinging to the wreckage. The White House now under fire with lawmakers on both sides of the aisle citing international law that prohibits killing enemy combatants who no longer pose a threat.
That's ABC's Lionel Moyes at the White House press briefing yesterday. A reporter asked the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, if Secretary of War Pete Hegseth ordered everyone on the boat to be killed.
From Secretary Hegseth, everyone be killed, and did that come from President Trump?
I saw that quoted in a Washington Post story. I would reject that the Secretary of War ever said that. However, the president has made it quite clear that if narco-terrorists, again, are trafficking illegal drugs towards the United States, he has the authority to kill them. And that's what this administration is doing.
President Trump's cabinet is meeting today. This topic certainly will come up. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Nice start to the trading today with the Dow Jones Industrials rebounding 127 points. The Nasdaq is up 221, S&P 500 index plus 31. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. It's been a few days since I've done this. Do you think I feel like I don't know what to do with my hands?
Who are you?
I don't know. It's been a while.
Well, I'm excited because it is, sorry, we talked about this in the commercial break. What's to do with your hands?
It's Tifo Tuesday.
It's Tifo Tuesday.
We've been doing this new thing. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, anytime we do Tifo Tuesdays, we do like the Shooter McGavin gun slinging.
Yeah.
It's Tifo Tuesday. I'm gonna have to tell Josh that. This is what we've been doing behind the scenes.
Yeah, he doesn't know, but we'll catch him up to speed.
Josh Tifo is going to be in, Senior Director for Turning Point USA. He's joining us at 11 o'clock, as he always does. And he's going to be bringing a friend, Matt Van Epps, also joining the show at 11 o'clock. I have a great interview coming up at 9:35. Not to give too much away, it's this lady that I know from Murfreesboro, sweet lady, Miss Parker. And her brother has been absolutely railroaded by the court system. And she's going to explain the story, and it's eye-opening. It's crazy. Like, this stuff could happen to anybody. So we're going to talk about that. That's going to be at 9:30. But we're going to begin today talking about the election in front of us. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. I do want to get to Tim Walz being called a retard by President Trump on Thanksgiving. A lot of people are up in arms about that. Liberals are so salty about that, and I just find myself not caring. To be perfectly honest with you, this is a word that gets used a lot. People say it. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Millennials never stop saying it. And I have a hard time buying into the pearl clutching from the left when these are the same people who will literally abort a baby if they find out it has Down syndrome. And they're upset about a word. Miss me with the BS. It's infuriating, actually. I've said retard. Everybody, like, who cares? Like, and I understand it's going to be more sensitive for some people, but I'll tell you this. When we were about to have our third kid, there was a chance that we thought Bishop might have Down syndrome. And do you know what we did? We said, okay,
your shoulders.
we're gonna have a kid with Down syndrome, and then everything's gonna be fine, and we're gonna love him, and it's gonna be perfect, and it's God's plan. It's not mine. So, like, I just the controversy over Trump saying retard doesn't bother me one bit. Maybe it bothers you, and I'm open to the opinion, and I'm happy to see if you can change my mind. 615-737-9986. But the big story today is Election Day in Middle Tennessee. It doesn't look like the weather is going to impact anything, and that was a big fear for quite a few days leading up to this special election, that there was going to be snow on the ground, icy road conditions, and that was going to impact people getting out to vote. It doesn't seem like that's going to be the case today. So it's Afton Bain, or it's Matt Van Epps. It's the woman who thinks marriage is bad, power is better than having children, prayer makes her uncomfortable, burning down a police station is justified. The woman that hates everything about Nashville, fantasizes about a world with police, and thinks ICE agents should be bullied. Or it's Matt Van Epps, decorated war veteran, great guy from all accounts. I feel like this has to be one of the easiest choices that could ever be made. But it's going to come down to energy. It's going to come down to turnout. And I pray that if you are in the 7th District, that you're getting out there today, because we need you. We can't have this woman representing the 7th District in Congress.
Many of you have been part of my story.
I was someone who always wanted to get out of East Tennessee.
Let's show the entire country
What police abolition looks like, that, we can do it.
I took that fight statewide.
For bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers.
Now I'm running for Congress because
I hate the city.
as a state representative in Tennessee,
I don't want children, I want power.
I'm Afton Bain.
I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently.
I don't know if Afton Bain approves that message or not, but it's all things that she said. So I can only assume that she approves. It didn't say it at the end. Didn't say she approved the message, but I just figured she does.
Yeah, it was all her statements, all her honesty.
The GOP put this together. It's really good. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, there's video for it as well. Hold on, let's do it one more time.
Afton Bain here. Many of you have been part of my story.
I was someone who always wanted to get out of East Tennessee.
Let's show the entire country
What police abolition looks like, that, we can do it.
I took that fight statewide.
For bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers.
Now I'm running for Congress because
I hate this city.
as a state representative in Tennessee,
I don't want children, I want power.
I'm Afton Bain.
I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently.
I would lose my mind if she wins. Would you lose your mind a little bit if she wins? I think everybody would lose.
Just a little bit.
Everybody would lose their mind a little bit. Because just imagine the gloating. You know what I mean? Like, imagine the victory tour.
Yeah.
If you're not motivated, think about what it looks like if Afton Bain wins, and I'm sure you'll find that motivation. Think of that.
It'll be along the lines of, I hate this city and I still won.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, no.
Donald Trump, he took to Twitter and True Social last night, which is, it's a rare thing for 47 to be taking to Twitter these days. But he took to Twitter last night, and he said, I'm asking all America First Patriots in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District to please get out and vote tomorrow for a phenomenal candidate, Matt Van Epps. Election Day, Tuesday, December 2nd. You can win this election for MAGA warrior Matt Van Epps, who has my complete and total endorsement. He will be a great congressman. And unlike his opponent, he cherishes Christianity and country music. She has openly stated that she hates them both. Polls open in counties no later than 9 a.m. Some open as early as 7 a.m. Polls close at 7 p.m. If you're in line by 7 p.m., stay in line. They must let you vote. Election day is today. Go vote for Matt Van Epps. We need you out there. Afton Bain was talking about the president yesterday, and she is under the impression that Trump even knows who she is. I don't know how she got that impression, but here we are.
I think we're so close. I think this race is a lot closer than they would have ever expected. Clearly, I'm living rent-free in President Trump's mind, but sir, I'm a 5'4" blonde in the South, just trying to make my community better. But okay, you do.
Yeah. Make the community better by harassing and bullying ICE agents, by craving power, by trashing marriage and Christianity. Yep, got it. You're doing a bang-up job. I don't think she's living rent-free in the president's mind. I think that this is another little thing on his to-do. Just, it's the only election going on.
Stop a crazy leftist.
Yeah. Like, Afton Bain suffers, and I'm convinced of this, she suffers from main character syndrome.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, this is one of the things, and when I worked at Turning Point, a lot of the staff was younger, and I would have to tell them, like, your biggest priority doesn't mean that it's another department's biggest priority. Like, you're not always the main character in the movie. I don't know if anybody ever sat Afton Bain down and told her she's not the main character in the movie. I know her mom sat her down one time and said, having you is a total mistake. Don't make the same mistake I did. But she really should have sat her down and said, the world doesn't revolve around you, Afton. You're not the main character in the movie. She is suffering from main character syndrome.
Just a little bit.
A titch of TDS.
Yeah.
It's a titch. She's had so many opportunities to clean up her comments as well. She has been on, CNN, MS Now.
Gross.
It feels awful. Doesn't it feel awful saying that? Nobody wants to say that.
Poor mouthfeel.
It feels, I don't like the taste of that in my mouth. She's been on all the liberal networks. They've all given her chances to clean things up, and she's failed every single time. This was CNN.
I do want to ask you about an attack line from Republicans, because this is a comment you made in 2020 about Nashville. It's gotten a lot of attention in the race. Let's listen to this.
I hate the city. I hate the bachelorettes. I hate the pedal taverns. I hate country music. I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently, an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it.
I know you said those comments were taken out of context, but I want to ask you about it, because I'm wondering, do you think it was a mistake to say that?
Once again, I was a private citizen. Nashville is my home. Do I roll my eyes at the bachelorette parties and the pedal taverns that are blocking my access to my house? Yeah, every Nashvilleian does. But this race has always been about something bigger. It's about.
Okay, so I don't know. Is this an issue? Pedal taverns blocking access to people's homes? Because that,
if you live on Broadway.
yes. Like, what?
Oh, wait. Nobody really does.
What are you talking about? What is she had a chance to clean it up and be like, yeah, I was just doing the thing, talking crap, but we were on a podcast like years ago.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even remember the conversation. I obviously love, like, you can clean it up so many ways. I don't want to give her any thoughts. I mean, it's obviously it's a little bit late. Election day is today, but she's had so many opportunities to clean up so many different things, like the abolishing and defunding of police. She was on CNN as well, and they said, hey, you said you would defund the police. Should we do that? And she was asked if more police in Nashville would be a good thing. I think we all understand that, yes, more police in Nashville would be a good thing. More police anywhere is typically a great thing. You could answer that. You could say yes, but she would upset the radical leftists that are energized to vote for her today.
Crime is, of course, also was a major issue in the presidential election, and I know there are some old posts. You've been asked about those old posts a number of times. My question for you today is whether more money for cops on the streets in the district you hope to represent would help fight crime. Would you like more money for more cops on the streets in your district?
So those past comments were at a time when I was a private citizen, as an activist and organizer, and now as a Tennessee lawmaker, I represent 40,000 individual opinions and political thought.
Right,
and
so what do you think now? Would more money for cops be good or bad?
I think it depends on what the community wants. And so I've worked with communities, at least my constituents, want to ensure that there is investment in their community for community safety, community protection, mental health services. And that's what I'm hearing from at least my constituents.
She doesn't like country music, but she knows how to square dance around a question. It's terrible. What do you mean? It depends on what the community needs. She's an insane person. And then the opposite is Matt Van Epps, who, for all intents and purposes, just seems like a normal guy. Is that a knock on him? He just seems like a regular dude, connected, knows the players, will be efficient, will succeed. He was on with Laura Ingraham the other night, and he said, guys, we got to reject the leftists.
She promotes transgender surgeries for minors without parental consent and believes that men can get pregnant. It's just absolutely crazy, and not the values that we stand for that are right for our district, our state, and our country.
I mean, that's as simple as you can put it. That's as simple as, does Afton Bain represent you? Does Afton Bain represent the 7th District? I don't think so. Listen, Afton, if you're listening, you're welcome to call in. You're welcome to call in. 615-737-9986. More than happy to have a conversation with Afton. We're going to have Matt Van Epps on at 11 a.m. Matt Van Epps has been making the rounds. He was on the Will Cain show. This was yesterday. Van Epps, along with Speaker Johnson, on the Will Cain show.
In one role and one in another?
Well, my opponent is as far left as you can get. She has been endorsed by the Democratic Socialists of America. She wants higher and new taxes to fund her socialist ideology. She doesn't stand with police. She wants to defund the police. She wants to abolish prisons. She supports transgender surgery for minors without parental consent. I mean, you just go down the list of the extreme viewpoints here, and they are not viewpoints that are consistent with Tennessee or with America. And that's where this is a very clear distinction. I'm a West Point grad, as you mentioned. I served in Iraq and Afghanistan as a helicopter pilot, was a small business leader here in Nashville, and served in Tennessee state government as a leader, still serving in the National Guard. Real world boots on the ground leadership experience that we're going to take forward to fight on behalf of America first.
That's what we want. That's what the people are demanding. A guy that's going to put America first. Do you think Afton's going to put America first? No. Afton's going to put illegal aliens first, much like all the rest of the Democrats. You will be last, my friend. Make no mistake about it. You're not going to be in the forefront of her thoughts. You're not, unless it comes to where do we get these taxes from. Then maybe you'll be the first person she thinks of. 615-737-9986. It is Election Day in Tennessee. This is a big one. The majority is already razor thin. We can't afford to lose this. If you can vote in the 7th District, get out there and vote. Polling locations are open. As President Trump said, if you're in line by 7 p.m., stay in line. They have to let you vote. It's going to be a busy day on the show. Looking forward to all the conversations we're going to have. 615-737-9986. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Glock store. You heard us talking last week. Big, huge, massive Black Friday, Super Saturday sale. The event was absolutely rocking. A lot of people won a lot of great stuff, but that's what you expect at a Glock store event. There ain't no party like a Glock store party, but now that Thanksgiving is over, we got to start thinking about Christmas. And what says Christmas more than the family photo with Santa? Everybody needs one. You got to get it for the fridge, for the photo albums. But what could be more Tennessee than a family photo with Tactical Santa? Yeah, you know, Santa with some camo, maybe some war paint, maybe a sidearm. That's the kind of Santa I like. A Santa who can take oncoming fire. Backed by popular demand, Tactical Santa will be visiting the Glock store and available for your holiday photos on December 5th, 6th, 12th, and 13th. Just $25 is going to get you a professional family portrait by the Glock store's in-house photographer. And of course, your pets are welcome. Get the most unique holiday photo memory ever with Glock store's Tactical Santa. Yes, appropriate props are encouraged and available. Tactical Santa this weekend and next, only at the Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at USS United Structural Systems. You may know them as the guys you should have called last week, especially if that rain is getting back into your crawl space and into your basement. You had hoped and you had prayed that the problem would solve itself. It's not going to do that. I know. I've been there. We all have. It's only going to get worse. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. That water getting in there, it's going to lead to mold. Your family's going to be breathing it in. It's going to lead to wood rot, which is going to lead to foundation issues, which is going to get much, much pricier. Here's the thing. When you call USS, you're going to get an expert. You're not going to get a sales guy. If it's a quick fix, they'll tell you. If it's something that needs a little bit more hands-on attention, they'll tell you that too. They've been doing this since 1994, keeping Tennessee homes dry, stable, and secure the way they should be. USS is the company that you can trust. So when it comes to your home, don't kick the can down the road. Call the people we trust, United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or find them online, USSTN.com.
Up ahead, President Trump steps into today's special election here in Tennessee. We'll tell you what he's had to say. Also, the left is building on the refuse military orders narrative, now accusing War Secretary Pete Hegseth of war crimes. All of that and more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 9:28, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We got a lot of stuff to get to on the way. My friend Terry Parker and Steve DeVore, they're going to be in the studio. They're going to be talking about a case that it seems like it's a travesty of justice. Gentleman by the name of Jamie D. Domenico. Now, just to shorten it up, he's been falsely accused of a heinous crime. And it seems like everyone is working against this guy to make sure he doesn't get out of prison. It's an insane story. Terry's going to break it all down. It's her brother. Steve is going to break it all down as well. They've been through the ringer, this family. And these kids want their dad back. It's a story that deserves a little bit more attention than it's gotten. If we had real investigative journalists in this town, Phil Williams, maybe they could focus on a story like this. They never seem to, though. They never seem to. Weird. Why is that? We'll talk about that on the way. Really looking forward to this conversation. Also, today at 11 o'clock, Tifo Tuesday. Josh Tifo, Senior Director for Turning Point USA, is going to be in studio. Matt Van Epps is going to be calling in to give us an update on the election. It's a big election. Have you voted yet? Have you? If you haven't, you're screwing up. If you're in the 7th District and you haven't voted yet, a no vote is a vote for Afton Bain.
Absolutely.
Make no mistake about it. And if it's as close as some think it is, you're not in a position to say, my vote doesn't matter. That's not the case today. You need to step up. You need to find your polling location. You need to get out there. You need to vote. You've had a lot of time. There was a lot of early voting. It was weeks of early voting. Could have done it then. Wait till the last minute. I get it. I'm an election day voting kind of guy myself.
Right there with you.
I like voting on election day. If that's you, make sure you do it. It's 9:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is now 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Voters hit the polls today in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District for a special election to fill the seat of outgoing Republican Representative Mark Green. The district skews heavily conservative. A Democrat hasn't held that seat for more than 40 years.
A Democratic win is unlikely, but it would be a massive earthquake. Still, a competitive loss could be a warning sign for Republicans, and both parties have dumped millions of dollars of advertising into this race. The president himself said the world is watching the results in Tennessee this week, and we've seen the president, the Speaker of the House, former Vice President Kamala Harris all rally for their parties in this race.
ABC's Deputy Political Director Ben Siegel there. Colder temperatures mean some people will try to stay warm in unsafe ways, including using space heaters while you're sleeping, or keeping the house warm with the oven door open. The state's fire marshal with a reminder to check your smoke detectors.
A working smoke alarm is your first line of defense in a fire. A working smoke alarm is faster than the fastest fire truck. So we urge you, if you're listening to this story, to go check your smoke alarms right now. If you're an older person, if you're a caregiver, make sure that the smoke alarm in that loved one's home is working.
On WSMV4 there, it looks like this will be the coldest day of this week. Lawmakers have some questions for the head of U.S. Special Operations Command following reports of multiple strikes on alleged drug traffickers off the coast of Venezuela in early September. Here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
The top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee says Admiral Mitch Bradley, the commander who directed the strikes as head of U.S. Special Operations, is expected to brief lawmakers later this week.
That's, I think, where we're going to first get the information. And then I think we should go higher up the chain of command.
Washington State Democrat Adam Smith says members of both parties have questions about reports that the U.S. targeted 2 survivors of an initial strike. The White House insists the actions were legal, but military law experts say they could amount to a war crime. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
And that is the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Remember last week with the Tylenol stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Britain, they came out and they said, don't listen to anything Trump says. You remember that?
Don't listen.
Don't listen to the orange man. Tylenol's totally safe. And then we were like, well, should we listen to Tylenol? Because they said don't take it while pregnant.
Yeah, they said that a while ago, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I've come to a new conclusion. We don't need to listen to anything the British government says, which leads me to this headline. First cousin marriage has benefits, says NHS guidance, despite birth defect risk. First cousin marriage is linked to stronger extended family support systems and economic advantages. So it's a strong family. Now, it's important to point out the real reason that they're doing this is because they've been culturally invaded by Muslims. I know. Listen, it's uncomfortable. People don't want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. Diversity is our strength. Yikes. It's 9:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can listen to the show anywhere, iHeartRadio, tune in, the FM dial. You can watch the show. Super Talk TV is up and running. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Really excited about the conversation that we got loaded up for you guys. Got a couple friends in the studio. But first, it's still Election Day. If you haven't voted for Matt Van Epps yet, you got time. Get in line. If you're in line by 7 p.m., you got to vote. We need you out there. We need Matt Van Epps to win. That being said, we'll talk more about that on the way. Matt Van Epps is going to call into the show right around 11 o'clock when we do Tifo Tuesdays with Josh Tifo. So we're looking forward to that conversation as well. But I've been looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have right here for months, it seems. I'm joined in studio by a couple friends, Terry Parker and Steve DeVore. What's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
I really appreciate it. So Terry is one of the sweetest ladies I've ever met. She knows the kids, and we've crossed paths many times. And I had no idea what kind of turmoil was happening behind the scenes. Because every time you see Terry, she's got this big smile on, a bubbly personality, like she fills a room with joy. And so I had no idea what was going on behind the scenes. And you never let on. And I was like, man, you should have told me a lot sooner. So I think we just jump right into it. Tell me about your brother, Jamie.
So he's my younger brother. We're 17 months apart, very close. Jamie is just what you would call just a good guy. He's a father of two, a brother, a son. He's just loving. He's kind. He's the kind of guy that you can depend on with pretty much anything. We have, as we'll get to the story, you'll hear more, but we have letters of testimony of Jamie's character from over 140 people that have known him from childhood through work, church. He's a Christ follower and just loves his children more than, as you know, as a father, more than words can say. They are his life.
And Steve, you're a colleague of Jamie's.
Correct, yeah. So I own a local production company here, video production company, and I've been blessed enough to work alongside Jamie, or actually hire Jamie and trust Jamie with a lot of responsibilities, from crew management to financial management to really coming through in a production designer aspect. So Jamie's a very well-known production designer here in Nashville. He has worked on hundreds of commercials, hundreds of music videos with a lot of the local, not even local, but a lot of household names in the music industry. Jamie has always, I met Jamie about 7 years ago when I moved to town. He was on the first job I ever met, and he was on every other job that I ever had until, unfortunately, what happened to himself. Jamie was always well-liked on set. He was always responsible, respectful. And quite honestly, as we'll get into the story, it's ironic, he was very well liked by everybody on set, including women. I mean, he was looked at to really be a support system and a safety net for those folks on set. I mean, it can get a little, when you're on set for 12 to 14 hours a day, you really become a close-knit family, and everybody kind of knows everybody. And Jamie was just one of the guys who I always could count on.
So he's a good guy. Great guy. Great dad.
Great dad. He's the kind of dad that, if his kids had a baseball game, if his son had a baseball game, he was there.
Yeah.
There, he was going to make it work. His daughter had gymnastics. He was there. He drove her to any appointments that she had that he could possibly be at. He's the kind of dad that doesn't miss anything, and his world just revolves around his kids.
So when and how did his world get completely turned upside down?
So his marriage was not a healthy marriage from the get-go, which we can talk a little bit about that. But in August of 2021, he was in the middle of divorce proceedings. He has a son from a previous relationship that he had parental custody of for school zoning and things like that, but worked very well with the mother of his son. And then he has a daughter. She was 4 at the time in August of 2021, going through divorce proceedings, still living in the same home with his wife, who was a practicing attorney in Williamson County, and she accused him of rape.
Whoa.
Right.
So he's living in the home with her. They're going through divorce proceedings, and this accusation comes out.
Right. Right. Sleeping in the same bedroom. You know, a week before, walked together with the kids to school to take his son to his first day of school. You know, yes. And their relationship was one that was always, it was tumultuous, if that's the right word, in that there was always the threat of divorce pending throughout the marriage. You know, Jamie would feel like he didn't do something right, and then there would be the silent treatment for a month. I'm going to divorce you, and it was a constant push relationship. You know, that he would get pushed away, and then he'd get pulled back in, and so to Jamie, this was normal. That okay, well, you know, we're going to get a divorce. That's what they're saying now. That wasn't the first time that divorce had been filed.
But it was the first time that an accusation like that had been levied.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And from there, then police get involved.
Right. Right.
So what does that process look like for Jamie?
So Jamie was accused in early August of 2021. The evening that he got accused, the police came in and made him leave his home. He got to pack a bag and go stay at my mom's. His son immediately lost his home. And he was not allowed to go back into that home until about a year later when they were ordered to sell it. And
so there was no arrest.
Not initially.
Not initially.
Not initially. So a lot transpired in that first year, civil court case wise, and he did not get officially charged with this until almost exactly a year to the day of the accusation. They came with a charge for him.
Which is very ironic. He had an order of protection placed on him after the initial accusation, and that order of protection was due to expire on the day that he was arrested and charged.
For his daughter. You know, he adored his daughter and she adored him. And when the accusation came down and he was kicked out of his home, he also lost any visitation privileges with his child. And so he had to go into having supervised visits. And
so it was a hell of a year.
Yes.
Which, mind
to put it mildly.
He was also the person who initiated the supervised visits. You know, that was a condition under the protection of the order of protection, and his ex-wife had no interest in helping him set up those supervised visits. So not only did he have to pay for them, he had to find the service. He found the service. He paid for them. They picked where he could go. You know, his daughter's grandparents were allowed to come there every once in a while, but obviously they want to give Jamie his space with his daughter because that's the only time he was able to see her. And not only that, it ripped his daughter away from her brother, who was her older brother, who she looked up to and could really be there to support and protect her throughout her life.
So everything's in turmoil. Everything is upside down. When the arrest is made, what happens from there?
So Jamie had been staying at my mom's. They show up at my mom's house, literally surrounded the house with officers as if they were hardened criminals. Nobody no criminal records.
Yeah,
whatsoever.
and he has no, and it's just important to point that no criminal record for Jamie, never been in trouble.
None whatsoever.
No.
Pillar in the community, great guy, everybody likes him.
Right. He had a DUI when he was in college, you know, that 20-some years ago.
40% of college kids do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no criminal activity, no convictions, no charges, just... So they show up, they take my brother to prison or to the county jail at first. And they set him up without bond, which was odd because that's, you know, our attorney said that was just not normal. So he stayed in there for about 11 days. We were able to get him out on bond with the condition that he wears an ankle monitor. And so he wore that for about a little over a year and a half until his trial, which was in November of 2023.
Okay, so no criminal record other than the DUI. He gets arrested. Where does that story go next? Because it starts to get a little bit cloudier and murkier around
I would like
the trial.
I'd like to point one other thing out. You know, while he was wearing that ankle bracelet, you know, because the film community, all his coworkers and colleagues who think the world of this guy. He really was told by his legal counsel that it was a he said, she said thing. He had nothing to worry about.
Well, this is one of my things. So was there any evidence when he was arrested?
None.
None whatsoever.
He said, she said, completely.
This case is a he said, she said, and as we'll get into further details, you'll understand why what happened. But, poor Jamie, we're in the middle of July. I'll never forget this commercial. We're in the middle of July. He's making snow, for crying out loud. You're in the middle of Tennessee in July, and we're making snow. We're making a scene. And everybody else is out there with like shorts and tank tops on. This poor guy's in long jeans because he's got this ankle bracelet on. And he doesn't, in our industry, you really are about you're as good as your reputation. And he really, truly in his heart felt, he knew he didn't do anything wrong. He really felt that the justice system was going to write this the right route. And unfortunately, we didn't know about the impending trial. All of his colleagues, all of us 100 and some supporters that showed up at his sentencing hearing from the film community didn't have an idea about the trial going on. We knew about the turmoil he was going through if we were really close with him. So that just is a testament to his character. He really felt in his heart, he knew in his heart he didn't do anything wrong. So he really didn't feel like he needed to reach out to his support team, other than his friends and family within his community and obviously his church family and whatnot.
He was very naive in believing that the justice system was going to be right and just, and it wasn't in this case.
So as you get through the justice proceedings, what was it that made you feel it was unjust and unfair?
It really started even before the criminal proceedings. Shortly after the accusation was made in 2021, part of what prompted all of this were some text messages that Jamie discovered on a shared iPad that their daughter had. Their 4-year-old used to watch videos on this iPad and play games. And Jamie was sitting with her one day and some text messages came through on that iPad that were not appropriate in nature from a client of hers, a male client. So Jamie questioned her about this, and that started the latest catalyst in we're getting a divorce, I'm leaving you, all of these things. So fast forward to the accusation. That Jamie found those in January of 21. Accusation happened in August of 21. They had been intimate multiple times, according to Jamie, during those months. Shortly after Jamie had the order of protection put against him, he got kicked out of his home. She filed a suit saying that those text messages that he had needed to be destroyed. And they went to court. It was at that point still a civil court hearing because Jamie had not been charged yet with the crime. And they went to court with a local judge in Williamson County, and he really didn't, if you read the transcripts, he really didn't take a lot of time even looking at what those text messages were and the content of them to see the inappropriate level of them. But he ordered Jamie to destroy every bit of those. And that turned out to be crucial in his criminal case because that would have been evidence that would have shown motive for
why she would make that accusation.
Why the accusation would have been made.
Because if he can prove cheating in a divorce trial, then
the jury's going to hear that.
Right, then the jury's going to hear that.
The jury's going to see some evidence that showed a motive. And, the other ironic thing about this whole situation is normally if there's a civil trial and a criminal trial happening within the same two folks or case, the criminal trial precedes the civil trial. So due to the fact he didn't get charged for 1 year after, the civil trial starts, he gets charged 1 year after. So all of that stuff that went down in the civil trial, it basically flowed over to the criminal trial. So the fact that he was ordered to destroy that evidence in the civil trial, like Terry said, he was never allowed to bring that into the criminal trial.
So he didn't really have a fair shake from the jump, is what.
Never
he didn't have a fair shake, and that's honestly one of the biggest red flags to myself personally. Is this case should have never been held in Williamson County.
Because she was the accuser, his ex-wife was a lawyer in
Williamson County.
So she's connected.
Yes.
One would assume.
Yes. One would assume she's connected, and after personally being there for the sentencing hearing, you could tell Jamie didn't stand a chance from the get-go. He just didn't stand a chance. These judges shot down everything. The judge who presided over his criminal trial was originally on his civil trial. So he heard all the stuff in the civil trial and then got to a point where the charges came up. Now we've got a criminal trial going on. Well, and then he recused himself and put another judge in charge of that. But he had already heard all the stuff that went down in the civil trial. He had heard the text messages. And now he's switching over to do the criminal trial. It just seemed very not judicial, for lack of better words.
And really, when the charges came, he didn't recuse himself until February of 2023. So the charges came in August of 22. So from August of 22 to February of 23, that judge continued to sit for the civil hearing. And then when it got to the point of, okay, now we need to make some decisions because time frames are coming up where he could get to see his daughter again. It was literally that month we all arrived at the Williamson County Courthouse to hear that case, and we get there thinking that's what we're going to get a decision on, and he says he's decided now to recuse himself and assign the civil case to this other Judge Binkley.
It must have felt like a gut punch.
It did. It was.
The whole thing felt
it was. Jamie was swimming upstream the entire time.
What was Jamie officially charged with?
So he was officially charged with 4 counts of rape for the one incident. One was she was on Ambien the night. This was something that she took most nights of their marriage, according to Jamie. You know, that was something I knew her. We were, until all of this started, she and I were very close, and I knew she was on Ambien. You know,
you counseled them for.
My husband and I counseled them for many, many months early on in their marriage when they were having issues. So I know a lot of things.
Did you ever see any red flags where you're like, Jamie, you got to get out of here?
So I did, but I think it was almost a little too late. You know, being an attorney, she knows how to present herself, I guess is the right word. And we really believed a lot of. She's very well spoken, and we believed a lot of what she said. We believed my brother as well, and what we were trying to do when we were counseling with them is teaching them how to communicate with one another. You know, in our views, it was you're expecting one thing, but he's thinking he's doing something else, and y'all are not meeting. You know, the goal is you're on each other's team. You just need to give each other grace as you're in this marriage. You know, you're 2 imperfect people. So we were trying to help them learn how to communicate. And, you know, we were coaching her and coaching him. But because of that time together, we got to hear a lot of details about their relationship that would have been helpful for Jamie's criminal case. Because during the criminal trial, it's important to note, Jamie's criminal defense attorney did not bring one witness in his favor.
And Jamie pleaded and pleaded and
Jamie
pleaded.
begged him to.
Was this a court-appointed lawyer, or was this?
No, this was an attorney that he hired. I think that was one of Jamie's biggest mistakes, was making sure he didn't get the best. This attorney assured Jamie, this is a he said, she said spousal accusation. This is not something that you're going to go to prison for. You know, this is not something that they can prove. They cannot prove that beyond a doubt that this happened. You know, you're saying one thing, she says another. Y'all have this history, and
he was also intimidated by the judges.
He was.
You could tell the minute he was in that courtroom. He wanted to make sure he minded his P's and Q's.
That's the defense attorney.
The defense attorney. He was not a defense attorney in Williamson County, which I think was a mistake. He did not regularly practice in that.
He didn't know the players.
He didn't know the players, and you know, not to jump around, but the Ambien thing is a very important variable of this whole case. You know, Jamie pleaded for his original criminal attorney, to hire an Ambien specialist. You get an Ambien specialist on that stand who can testify that a person taking Ambien still knows if they're consenting or not consenting to sexual context. That's that could have helped him remarkably in this whole situation. And that's one of the things we're still trying to work through in the post-conviction stage, which we can get to in a little bit. But I really feel that his attorney was intimidated by the judges. It's a good old boys club down there in Williamson County, and
I want to get a little bit more into that. We do got to take a quick break.
Yes.
We're talking with Steve DeVoer and Terry Parker about Jamie Domenico, her brother, who, as Terry says, was falsely accused of rape. And we're going to dive more into what happened in the criminal trial on the other side. It's 9:56. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Okay, cool.
It's now 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. The voting continues in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. Congressman Tim Burchett on Fox News with a warning for Republicans.
This is the proverbial canary in the cave. If Matt Van Epps, a qualified candidate, a district that Trump won by over 15 points, can't carry this thing, we're in trouble. Republicans are asleep at the switch. We pay attention to presidents because President Trump is a great president. We should be paying attention to him. But when it gets down to the other races, we forget about it.
Now, Democrats, including Afton Bain, have been emboldened by 2 convincing wins in New Jersey and Virginia's governor's races. Polls are open until 7 tonight. A protest by a handful of Rutherford County residents who were ticked off that 149 books, mostly containing transgender and LGBTQ content for kids, have been yanked off the shelves of local libraries. This woman teaches kids in Rutherford County.
They are making way for essentially public libraries to no longer respect citizens' First Amendment rights to free speech.
The Secretary of State has called for an immediate age appropriateness review of all juvenile books to comply with an executive order from President Trump. Nashville's joining a multi-state lawsuit over changes to HUD's homeless housing policy. Now, more people will be moved out of permanent housing and into transitional housing that requires work and addiction treatment. Channel 4's Alexandria Adams.
Could push nearly 1,000 current housed people back into unsafe housing situations, or even in some cases into homelessness.
However, HUD says the new policies will restore accountability and promote self-sufficiency. The new policies could also shift more funding to places that enforce bans on homeless encampments. Costco suing the Trump administration. It's a preemptive strike, essentially. Costco wants a full refund if the Supreme Court strikes down the bulk of President Trump's tariffs. Costco joins about 50 other companies suing on similar grounds. And Oxford University Press naming its Word of the Year for 2025.
Rage bait is the word of the year picked by Oxford University Press. The phrase refers to online content Oxford says that is deliberately designed to elicit anger or outrage by being frustrating, provocative, or offensive, with the aim of driving traffic to a particular social media account. That often leads to millions of comments, shares, likes, and outrage. Rage bait was hot enough to edge out two other top words for this year: aura farming and biohack. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can listen to the show anywhere. iHeartRadio, tune in the FM dial. You can watch the show. Super Talk TV is up and running on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. It is Election Day. Get out there and vote for Matt Van Epps. He's going to be joining the show in about an hour, 11 o'clock-ish, with Josh Tifo, Senior Director for Turning Point USA. Looking forward to that conversation. Right now, though, we're in the middle of another conversation. I got Steve DeVore and Terry Parker in studio, and we're talking about Terry's brother, Jamie Domenico. Jamie was, as Terry puts it, falsely accused and then convicted of rape. And this was with his now ex-wife. And the story is wild because it seems like it was a he said, she said case, which went to a civil court. Then civil court proceedings said you got to delete this evidence of an affair. Then it goes to a criminal trial. And then you're in the criminal trial and you've already been ordered to delete all of this evidence. How do you get a fair trial when you don't have the evidence to build a case?
Right. You don't.
You don't. It wasn't a fair trial.
The trial took place in Williamson County.
It did. It did in November of 2023.
What's Jamie doing today? He's sitting in a jail cell.
He's sitting in a prison. He's sitting in a jail cell, has been there for a little over 2 years now. Fighting. We're fighting.
Yeah, he's at Riverbend Maximum Security Prison here in Nashville, which the plus of that is that all of us can, there's just like a few of us that go to visit him, keep his spirits up, keep the faith going. But yeah, he's in prison 24/7.
And in a maximum security prison.
He's in that prison. He's not in the maximum portion.
Okay.
There's a medium and minimum pod that he's in. So, but he's in there with criminals, people who have completely lived different lives than Jamie.
And the reason he's there is due to the length of his sentence.
So he's there, and his sentence, he was sentenced to 10 years? Is that
10
correct?
years.
He was sentenced to 10 years with no chance of parole, with no prior convictions. And we sat in the courtroom and watched other people get sentenced for charges that were much worse. For instance, we saw an individual get sentenced to 4 years for statutory rape by the same judge that sentenced Jamie to 10 years with no chance of parole.
Now, it's important to rehash that the ex-wife, the accuser, was a lawyer in Williamson County.
Correct.
Absolutely.
So she is connected, and you guys are of the opinion that Jamie got railroaded in court.
Absolutely.
That
wholeheartedly.
He did not have a fair shake. So what leads you to the opinion that during the criminal trial he doesn't have a fair shake?
Really, there were a lot of different factors. One, I blame his defense attorney. Didn't bring up anybody. The prosecution did a great job of taking situations and testimony and making Jamie look like a really bad guy. And things were taken out of context, grossly out of context. And had the defense attorney put up witnesses to counter that, it would have gone a long way. But the biggest thing that we were upset about is the evidence that Jamie had been ordered to destroy.
And this was text messages found on his daughter's iPad that illustrated that there was an extramarital affair going on that he caught wind of.
Yeah.
It was inappropriate messages from a male client on an iPad. Technically, I believe in the case, she said that the iPad belonged to her law firm because it was purchased with her law firm money. However, it was the pad that their daughter carried around, and Jamie and their daughter had passcodes to open it. It was a family iPad in all
But they
intents
said
and purposes.
this is private. You don't have access to it because
That's
it's a work
what she
device.
came back and said after.
It's
yes.
private, but it was shared through their iCloud. So it was on not only on the device, on the iPad, but I'm sure it was on multiple devices. Anybody who's privy with iCloud knows that all your information goes to multiple devices.
And that evidence is not allowed in the criminal case.
It's not allowed in the criminal case, nor is any evidence about the civil hearing at all. I'll try to explain this and break it down pretty easy for you, but the civil attorneys asked, can we wait and have the civil trial after the criminal trial? Because, I mean, honestly, if the criminal trial goes south, then the civil doesn't matter a whole lot anyway, because Jamie would be going to prison. When Judge Woodruff was the original judge that when the accusation was made, he presided over the order of protection for Jamie and his daughter, or for Jamie's ex and his daughter. He presided over all of the set amounts of support that Jamie was ordered to pay. He presided over the destroying of the text messages on the iPad.
And this is all in civil court.
This is all in civil court. So this is all before the criminal. So Judge Woodruff presided over all of these things. Then when we had said earlier in February of 23, we go and we're thinking Jamie might get some custody back of his daughter. We get in there and he says, no, I'm going to give this case over to Judge Binkley in Williamson County. And so at that point, Judge Binkley took over the civil case, and Woodruff said, I'm going to stay on the criminal case. So we asked Binkley if we could put off the criminal or the civil. He said, absolutely not. We're going to hear it in June, even though the criminal trial at that time was not set to happen until later that year.
Which is very abnormal. Like I'd mentioned earlier, anytime there are concurrent civil and criminal cases going on, the criminal case always takes precedent over the civil case.
So they have the trial. It's a week-long civil trial. At that point, we did bring a lot of witnesses on Jamie's behalf, as far as his character, as far as what my husband and I witnessed when we counseled them together, a lot of things that could have been used in the criminal trial. Fast forward to the end of the civil trial, Judge Binkley does not make a ruling on that civil trial. Now, this happened in June of 23. We get to November of 23, where the criminal trial is getting ready to take place. There's still no ruling on the civil trial. So our defense attorney asked, we want to bring up some of the things that were talked about during the civil trial. And Judge Woodruff said, no, because that's still a pending case that's open. So you can't bring up anything that happened during the civil portion to defend Jamie, because that's still an open case in the courts, because it had not been ruled on yet. So, Jamie gets convicted. We get a ruling from Judge Binkley, then gives a ruling and retires suddenly, right after he had gotten elected into this position, which was odd to begin with. The ruling came down. He gave Jamie's ex every dime of the equity they had in their home, every dime of any money, any property. Jamie received nothing. There was about $40,000 left, and he kept it in the court's escrow to pay her child support. While Jamie was sitting in prison, she was still receiving about $4,000 a month of Jamie's money.
She's still trying to currently get alimony from Jamie after she's been remarried.
Wow.
Right. And she did get engaged the day of Jamie's sentencing hearing to the man that the messages on the iPad were from.
Not suspicious at all.
Not at all.
Not to the normal eye.
It's also,
And these are the text messages that weren't allowed in the criminal court.
That's right.
Correct.
So he gets convicted, she gets engaged. Those messages were never admissible.
Correct. She actually, during the depositions that happened prior to the criminal case, she testified that she was not dating this man. And then a few months later, my family was traveling from Orlando back to Nashville. We were at Disney World over the holidays, and we were on a plane with her and this man and my niece.
Wow.
She would not allow anyone in our family to see my niece. Cousins, I have little girls that just are a few years older than my brother's daughter, and they had not seen their cousin in over a year. We saw them in the airport. We hugged, our sweet niece, and they were on the same flight. So that was, I think, on a Sunday night. By Monday afternoon, she had gone back and amended the deposition that she wasn't dating him then, but she is dating him now.
Convenient.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it doesn't seem like he ever stood a fair chance.
He didn't from the moment from the civil trial starting. And it was the very judge that presided over his criminal case that really presided over all of the civil cases.
Absolutely.
Because by the time he turned it over to Judge Binkley, there was nothing left to decide on. All the decisions had been made as far as what was being paid during the ongoing part, during the waiting process of Jamie being able to prove his innocence.
It's interesting. I'm not sure Jamie has even stood a fair chance in the appeal to the state. His appellate attorney, who is a well-known attorney here in town by the name of Ben Rabin, he put together, in my opinion, a very, very detailed argument for the state to give him a new trial. And they denied the appeal with zero case studies, anything backing up their decision. And one of the main points of that appeal was that the Judge Woodruff, instructed the jury improperly, and that's called mistake to fact. And that is a very, very good. It's a very good point to get a trial.
So how did he instruct the jury incorrectly?
So the mistake of fact is when he was giving the jury their instructions, he should have instructed them that if you believe that there is a chance that this man thought that his wife was consenting, which is what Jamie testified, then you can't say he's guilty. If there is a chance that you believe that Jamie believed his wife consented to their intimate encounter, then he's not guilty. He did not give them that instruction. He worded it much differently.
And this whole case hinges on the fact that she says she was on Ambien, which is a sleeping
Yes.
medication,
Mm-hmm.
and so she wasn't consenting.
Correct.
And he says that's BS. There was consent there.
Jamie says absolutely there was consent. It's interesting. The police report that she wrote was incredibly detailed, pages of details of the actual act. He put his hand on me here. He turned me this way. He said this to me. But then yet her argument is that, well, I was on Ambien and I didn't know what was going on. Yet you recall every moment of it in the police report. It doesn't add up to me.
Which that's the unfortunate thing. In his criminal trial, his criminal defense attorney should have called an Ambien specialist to the stand. And per Jamie, his defense attorney told him, you can't afford it.
So it sounds like his first attorney dropped the ball.
Absolutely.
Multiple times.
Multiple times.
But he was also walking in there thinking, I didn't do anything wrong, so what do I have to worry about?
Right. And the attorney was also walking into a wolf's den. I mean, he was walking into an area he had never been to.
And the ex-wife was very familiar with
Absolutely.
this den. So Jamie has appealed, and he lost that appeal.
He did, and I think it's really important to note, our argument was strong. Ben Rabin, our attorney, and his father were both present. David Rabin, very well-respected, well-known defense attorneys in Davidson County. Both of them said that the interpretation of the law should have gone the way that our attorneys were arguing. There was one judge on that appellate panel that continued to argue with our attorney, Ben Rabin, so much that they actually gave him an extra minute at the end because he continued to talk over him. And,
the judge did.
The judge
did. The judge continued to talk over our attorney. It seemed as soon as we got in there that there was, it didn't feel like there was a chance. So when they came back with their ruling, out of the hundreds of years of case law in the state of Tennessee, there was not one case law that could back up the decision that the appellate court made. And that basically is that, if somebody says you did it, then you can't. The defense of a man saying, well, I believe that she did consent to that is now gone. It's now written into case law unless the Supreme Court overturns the appellate court's decision to hear this case. And that's one thing we're calling for the Supreme Court to do, is do the right thing. If this can happen to Jamie, this can happen to any man.
Absolutely.
It can happen to any man. And, the state, by allowing this appeal to stand and not be overturned by the Supreme Court, opens up a whole new dangerous zone for men who are falsely accused of something like sexual assault. It takes away a layer of their defense that they should have in our judicial system.
So right now your hope is hinging on the Supreme Court of Tennessee.
That's our hope. We've appealed to the Supreme Court. We just sent that about 7-8 days ago. The Supreme Court at this point can decide, yes, we'll take your case and we will hear it, or no, we're not. We're going to back up what the original appellate court decided. And that's where it's a dangerous slippery slope if they support what the appellate court decided, because it's basically writing new case law into the state of Tennessee, which is not favorable for men that are being accused of things that they didn't do.
So what can we do to help you guys get more of this story out there? What can we do to help, create a little bit of pressure so that way the Tennessee Supreme Court does take this?
I think the first thing that we can ask all the listeners to do is just go to the website. We've created a website. It's justice4jamie.com. So it's JUSTICE 4 JAMEYD. I'm sorry, I apologize. It's justice JUSTICE 4 JAME.com. On there's an email address. You can contact us, but we really urge anybody and everybody to reach out to Governor Lee, to reach out to the Supreme Court, and to really try to get these people to see the misjustice that's happening in Jamie's life.
Right. We need attorneys to help us. It's expensive,
How much money has been spent so far?
Close to about $600,000 to $700,000 has been spent.
And that came from an inheritance Jamie received when his father passed away. That came from Jamie's hard work money, earned money on sets. That didn't come from any civil money. It didn't come from any money that he got when they sold the house.
He got zero proceeds from the home that was in his name that he put the down payment on for. He got zero proceeds from that. So, the appeal alone cost $100,000.
Wow!
Just for the appeal, and that's not all of the civil and the criminal bills that he has paid leading up to. And included in that total are the thousands of dollars Jamie spent on supervised visits just to get to see his daughter.
Yeah.
Well, that was probably baked into some of the cake. If the accusations are true that this woman fabricated this story, then and she's a lawyer in Williamson County, they know that the process is part of the punishment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I think another thing to be aware of, if unfortunately the Supreme Court does not take this case, they take very few cases. We're very, very hopeful that we have a strong case for them to see Jamie's case. But if they don't, Jamie's then put back into what's called the post-conviction stage. And that's when we can file a motion for a new trial. But then again, we will need a new attorney. His appellate attorney, once the Supreme Court decision is made, he is no longer allowed to stay on Jamie's case. So right now we're reaching out to any and every criminal justice reform activist and attorney and really anybody and everybody we can to try to get this case in front of them to really spark a fire under them to want to help prove Jamie's innocence.
We have reached out to the Tennessee Innocence Project, and they're very aware of Jamie's case and are watching it closely.
We've got we've got a very good army behind Jamie and people who believe in and support and really believe in his innocence. It's really about
including every ex-girlfriend that Jamie has ever had since he was in his 20s have reached out to our family. What can I do? How can I help? Jamie would never hurt a woman like this.
One of them even drove from Indiana to see him, to have a special visit to see him here in Nashville at the prison.
Really?
Married now. Their husbands are friends with Jamie.
We run a Facebook page called Justice for Jamie as well. And there's been I've received multiple messages from random friends who've caught wind of this story and are just flabbergasted at the accusations.
Yeah, I'm flabbergasted as well. Justice for Jamie on Facebook.
Justice for Jamie on Facebook.
Justice for Jamie, but JAME with the number 4.
Actually,
Justice for Jamie.
Actually, it's JAMEY.
JAMEY. Justice for Jamie, JAMEY with the number 4.com.
That's right.
Find more information about the story, share it with your friends, and let's put a little bit of pressure on the Tennessee Supreme Court to take the case.
Yes, please.
Well, we'll be praying for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us, Chris. We really appreciate the time.
Thank you guys for coming in and sharing the story. It's 10:26. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. How about this year for Christmas, you get yourself a gift? You get yourself the gift of a pain-free life. You're not going to be able to do it on your own. You're going to need the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Hey, it's Chris Hand for Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley. These guys will change your life and get you back to a pain-free existence by Christmas. And it's not going to break the bank. It's not going to ruin your gift budget. It's only $12. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special. It's going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment for only $12. And it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. It could be back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs, slipped, herniated discs. They'll treat it all. And they're not going to treat it with injections. They're not going to treat it with surgery. They're not going to treat it with opioids. What they're going to do is they're going to focus with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, anti-gravity machines. This is the future, and it's going to get you back to a pain-free life for good. It's time for you to finally grab your MRI, get ready to understand your condition, and fix it. And you can do that with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009. Or find them online, painisbad.com.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
With your top stories, Tennessee's 7th congressional district becomes the center of the political universe today as voters, the ones who haven't voted early, head to the polls. Now, it's such an important election that House Speaker Mike Johnson stumped alongside Republican Matt Van Epps yesterday in Franklin, as heard on News Channel 5.
Every single vote will count, and this one is for all the marbles. It will decide the future of the country. No hyperbole there at all.
And Afton Bain spent part of her yesterday out speaking with voters as well.
Could not be more clear in terms of who is going to make life more affordable.
She got support from Kamala Harris, AOC, and Al Gore, but none of them appeared alongside her on the campaign trail. Now, polls will close at 7 o'clock tonight. You can check your eligibility to vote at govotetn.gov. More than 84,000 voters have already cast their ballot in early voting. And a major announcement today from billionaire couple Michael and Susan Dell. You know them as the founders of Dell Technologies.
This is really exciting.
Absolutely. It's a very special moment.
Yeah, they've just announced that they're giving $6.25 billion for American kids. This money will enhance the Trump accounts, which begin next year for U.S. citizens born from the beginning of 2025. Trump accounts will be seeded with $1,000 from the government. The Dell's money will put $250 into accounts of those who were born before January 1st of this year, but who are still under the age of 10.
We've seen what happens when a child gets even a small financial head start. Their world expands.
The real power of these accounts is that anyone can contribute. Parents, relatives, friends, everyone can help shape a child's future.
Now, the Dells are hoping that other major philanthropists will do the same and pledge funds for our nation's kids. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. If you need health insurance, but you don't want it to be confusing, you don't want it to be a math test, and you don't want surprise bills and fine print that bites back, you can make it simple with Cover Nash today. Cover Nash is a brand new nationwide PPO plan that's going to give you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. No referrals, no red tape. How does a $250 deductible sound? Or a flat $50 copay for any doctor, even specialists? You need an outpatient surgery? $250 copay. Hospital stays, just $1,000 total. Plus free preventative care like colonoscopies, not that you're excited, mammograms, physicals, the works. And here's the kicker. No surprise bills, no hidden fees, just real protection from real providers. Maybe that plan's not the perfect one for you. Well, Shane Ring works with 75 top-rated insurance companies. He can find something that's going to work for your budget and your needs. All you got to do is visit the website, covernash.com. That's covernash.com. Or if you're more of a phone call guy, I'm a phone call guy. I can guarantee you Shane Ring is sitting at his desk right now. 615-465-0023. Pick up the phone, give him a call. Say, I'm tired of paying too much for health insurance. 615-465-0023. Covernash.com. It's 10:37. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris and Mason Fleming is producing. I had a Ken Weaver sighting. Ken Weaver's in the building.
He's in the building.
He's somewhere around here. He's making moves.
Oh, yeah. Boys, I made it. I survived I-24.
Hats off to you. Hats off to you.
Congratulations. I did. I took 840 this morning myself. Not today. Not today, Satan.
Yeah, I don't blame
we're running out of time very quickly. The show 3 hours not enough.
Not enough.
That's not enough. I want to get some calls on this one. I'm interested what the audience thinks, because Donald Trump had a tweet the other day.
Oh,
had a bit of a tweet. It was a true social post.
Was it a mean tweet?
It was pretty mean.
I was about to say, did he do his double up on Truth and Twitter again?
So no, I don't think he doubled this one. He might have. Anyway, it's gotten 73 million views. Okay.
Okay.
People are calling it President Trump's greatest post of all time. That's what they're calling it. He called the governor of Minnesota, and I quote, seriously retarded. Seriously retarded. Now I want to know what you think. Is that a bridge too far? Is the R word too hard for you? Because a lot of liberals are up in arms over this. They can't even believe that the president would do this. We'll read the post. He said, third world countries need to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country, end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country, denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility, and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal disruptive populations, including those admitted through the unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all. This is the post that he put on Thanksgiving morning. And again, he calls the governor of Minnesota seriously retarded. He said Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, and who probably came into the USA illegally, in that you're not allowed to marry your brother. He goes after third world migration, and he talks about remigration. People are calling it the greatest Trump post of all time. Are you upset that he called Governor Walz retarded? 615-737-9986. Donald Trump was asked about this on an airplane, Air Force One. I believe this was coming back from Florida to D.C. after the Thanksgiving holiday. A reporter asked him if he stands by the claim of calling Tim Walz retarded. And Trump says, well, yeah, absolutely.
In that same post, you mentioned Tim Walz, and you called him what many Americans do find an offensive word, retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz retarded?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with him. Absolutely, sure.
But you don't think that...
You have a problem with him? You know what? I think there's something wrong with him. Anybody that would do what he did, anybody that would allow those people into a state and pay billions of dollars out to Somalia. We give billions of dollars to Somalia. It's not even a country because it doesn't function like a country. It's got a name, but it doesn't function like a country.
So that's the president on Air Force One doubling down. I'm here for it. But he's commenting on the absolute train wreck of fraud that we're seeing in Minnesota. We're seeing things like $1 billion in taxpayer-funded benefits under Democrat Governor Tim Walz being defrauded by Somalian migrants. The Treasury is investigating. President Trump's Small Business Administration has ordered an investigation into Tim Walz's Minnesota for overseeing multiple Somali organizations defrauding the taxpayer through Small Business Administration loans. It's even worse than any of us could have imagined. And when he sees this happening, he's like, yeah, this is retarded. That ruffles a lot of feathers. I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of pearl clutching from a lot of Democrats. And I think it's important to point out that while the president said a word you don't like, Liberals have no issue finding out that their unborn child has Down syndrome and terminating the pregnancy. Which is worse? I don't have an issue with the word. I've used the word. I've never used it to describe somebody who is mentally handicapped. But I've used it to describe things. I think a lot of millennials have. Gen Z, absolutely. I don't know where Gen X is on it. But is that word a bridge too far for you? 615-737-9986. Brian in the borough. You're up first. What's up, Brian?
Man, we know each other too well to have never met.
What's up?
So I heard Brooks got a character award. Is that true?
Oh, yeah. Young Brooks. That's why I was off yesterday, just in case anybody's keeping score at home. My son got a character award at school, so I took the day off so that way I could be there for the assembly.
That shows your character, bro.
Well,
I appreciate that.
Man, I appreciate you.
Well, my daughter was going to walk up and introduce herself, but she said I just couldn't do it. So I said, that's cool. We'll meet him another day. And as far as the word retarded, I grew up in the 60s, and that was a common word, and it was used to describe mentally handicapped children, people. So I get it. But here's what I think. President Trump is a brilliant man. Sometimes I think he uses words just to get a rip out of the other side. I'm pretty sure of it. Just like you do, just like I do. Snarky people are built like that. We're just wired differently. We don't see so much seriousness and sometimes provocation. And, the word retarded is a perfect word for Tim Walz. It's a perfect word for Kamala Harris. Kamala, I call her, and a lot of the stupid people on the left, just like he told that ABC lady, you're a stupid person. I love, what do you do about honesty when people hurt others' feelings? I say, oh, well, it's true, and I don't take that back.
I hear you, man, and I appreciate the call, Brian. As always, 615-737-9986. Let's go to Ray in Nashville. Ray, your thoughts on the post. He said, what was the exact verbiage? He said, seriously retarded, Governor Tim Walz. Is that too far for you?
No, that's not too far for me. I think it's great, man. If you ever seen the movie Something About Mary, he uses that word too, and it's just hilarious. The thing about Trump is you never know what that guy's going to say, and a lot of times he says stuff, and it's just funny because it's not, basically it's not presidential, but it is hilarious to hear the president say things like that. It's not too far. I get it. Okay, I get it. But if you take a word and you say, oh, it means this, and then another word, oh, it means that, it can mean different things to different people. But, if that word, is sensitive to you, well, you'll just have to get over it.
I appreciate the call, Ray. Senator Amy Klobuchar would be one of those people that Ray says you need to get over it. She said this is unbelievable. How could this ever happen?
I do, before we move on, want to give you a chance to respond to something else that the president said. He said that Congresswoman Ilhan Omar probably came to the U.S. illegally, mocked the hijab that she wears, and he called your governor, quote, retarded.
I'm sorry. I have to stop it there. She left out the part about probably marrying her brother. Facts matter.
These words shouldn't even be repeated by anyone, much less a president of the United States. Again, he goes after people because they look different than him. He goes after our governor and uses a slur that, by the way, has now led a legislator in Indiana who has a kid with disabilities to say that he's not going to vote with him on the redistricting vote in Indiana. These are the kinds of things he does. And they try to tear people apart, but as we saw from the midterm elections, it's not working. People look at their grocery bills, they know who to blame. They don't want to see the chaos. They don't want to see the corruption. They mourn for the loss of this National Guard member, but they do not believe you should use it to turn away 24 million people who are already in this country, who are naturalized citizens.
Oh, yeah, very nice, very nice. So people don't want to see chaos and corruption. They don't want to hear bad words. It's like, but You have billions in fraud. Billions in fraud. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Kathleen in Clarksville. What's up, Kathleen?
Hey, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Listen, I'm a Generation Xer. I've got a special needs brother. I grew up under Reagan. If something's retarded, something's retarded. And that governor's retarded. And that's all there is to it.
Well,
and if people take offense to the word under Reagan, he told us that political correctness, liberalism will be disguised under political correctness, and that's what's happened to our country.
You're absolutely right, Kathleen, and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for sharing that. Clip that for a promo, by the way. Steve on the road. You're next on Super Talk. What's up, Steve?
Hey, man. Hey, yeah, I just let me say I'm all for every single thing that Trump has ever done and that he's doing now. I'm behind him 100%. I voted for him both times. Everything he's doing is great and all, but the only thing, and nobody's going to change him. That's just the way Trump is. But as president of the United States, he needs to put that above of Donald Trump. He knows he's Donald Trump. Everybody knows he's Donald Trump. We know who he is, but he's also the president of the United States. The word don't offend me at all, but it does offend a lot of people. And although it's not really hurting most of us, it's not helping a lot of us either, because he is creating more division or creating more of a separation when he does this, although we all still know how he is and who he is.
Do you think do you think there was some tactical placement of that word, though, to draw more attention to the fraud that's happening in Minnesota? Fraud that now, because he called Tim Walz retarded, has to be addressed by all of these mainstream media networks?
I mean, possibly that's what he does, a little bit of bait maybe he threw out there and everything, but I just think he could have picked a bunch of different words for Tim Walz other than retarded. I mean, and another thing is he keeps repeating himself when somebody asks him a question. I know he's smart, and I know he's got smart people all around him, and it's your works that pay off in the end, not your words as much. Your words do matter when you're president, but I wish he would stop repeating the same things. When somebody asks him a question, he just kind of goes back into this, these people have done this has happened. We've heard that so many times that it's getting old, and I just wish he could articulate and have some more substance in his responses on these questions instead of just repeating the same lines. But like I said, things are getting done that need to be getting done. Tampon Tim is always going to go down as Tampon Tim, but I just think he could have picked a better word than that. As presidential and as a professional, he could have picked a better word.
Well, I appreciate the call. Appreciate your opinion, Steve. Thanks so much. Let's go to Dwight in Tullahoma. What's up, Dwight?
Hello, sir. How are you today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Hey, we're all right. It's time to get through the cold weather.
Yes, sir. Your thoughts on the Trump post?
I tell you what, after all the dishonesty and fraud that has been brought to light by the right, the left needs to find something else to do with their time in policing the words that people say. I mean, freedom of speech is freedom of speech. That's it. And if you don't want to hear it, change the channel, close the book, turn up the television.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, and I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986. I got time for a couple more calls. Let's go to this Anonymous in Nashville. Anonymous wants to talk about the R word. What's up, Anon?
Hey there. So I got one better. I was supposed to be mongoloid, which was what they called retarded people back in the 60s. The doctors begged my mother to have an induced abortion called a D&C. But yeah, retarded, there's nothing wrong with it, especially if blacks are the only ones that can say the N-word. Me being supposedly retarded, I think retarded is a great word, and it is appropriate in a lot of situations nowadays. So yeah, Trump is okay. Use it because it definitely applies the way he used it.
Well, I appreciate it. I've heard of getting an N-word pass from Black friends. Are you giving us an R-word pass? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, absolutely. I in every word pass because, free speech.
I'm with you. I appreciate the call. 10:52. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We talk about these guys all the time because they are the best. This month, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is doing what they always do. They're taking care of Middle Tennessee, and they're going to be stepping it up for Christmas. First, if you want to make a real difference for a local family, Busy Bee's running a toy drive at their headquarters in Lebanon. You drop off a new toy, it's going to stay right there in Wilson County, helping kids who need a little extra something under the tree this Christmas. And while you're thinking about everybody else, well, take a second and think about yourself too. Take care of your own home. If you upgrade your water heater in December, Busy Bee is going to give you a free 10-year parts warranty. Some exclusions apply, but this is a deal that's really going to save you some money long term. They're also giving away a free Beehive membership. Just bake a Buzz the Bee cookie, snap a picture, tag Busy Bee on social media. This is easy. It's free. The kids want to make cookies anyway. Clogged mainline, 93 or free specials still going on. They clear it or you don't pay. And if your air ducts need a little attention, book a cleaning. And if you buy the mid-tier package, they'll bump you up to the deluxe level for free. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they take care of you always. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
So Trump announced today he's federalizing D.C. police to put an end to violent crime in Washington, D.C. Naturally, leftists are losing their mind and completely unhinged.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights, to build trust, and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Free of what?
That is fascism-free.
Fascism-free? Fascism-free. Oh, okay, hang on one second. Hey, Brooks, come here. F-A-S-C-I-S-M.
Fascism?
Correct, fascism. I didn't mean to turn this into an ad for homeschooling versus public schooling, yet here we are.
Maybe she should have proofread that.
It is Election Day here in parts of Middle Tennessee. We got a full report coming up on that and other top stories at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Mason Fleming is producing. My name is Chris Hand. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. In studio with me, Senior Director for Turning Point Action, Josh Tifo, is here. Tifo Tuesday. So I started adding a hand thing when I do Tifo Tuesday.
That's very appropriate.
So it's like a little Shooter McGavinus.
Yeah, you know me well enough that's perfect. That's ideal.
It's Tifo Tuesday. Have you heard the new Afton Bain ad?
I want to. Hit us with it.
This is the new Afton Bain ad. You've probably seen this. They've been running these ads everywhere.
Afton Bain here. Many of you have been part of my story. I was someone who always wanted to get out of East Tennessee. Let's show the entire country what police abolition looks like, that we can do it. I took that fight statewide for bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. Now I'm running for Congress because I hate the city. As a state representative in Tennessee, I don't want children, I want power. I'm Afton Bain, and I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently.
And she approves the message because it was her voice.
That's rough. So let's go back in time. There was this crazy bartender running for Congress in New York. Nobody thought she had a shot. And now we're dealing with her as a national figurehead for the Democrat Party. Her name is AOC. So do you want to deal with this woman for the next 10 years in Tennessee culture, or God forbid national culture? Or are we just going to end this now? Are we just going to retire her now?
I think we should just end it today.
Yeah, and we have a really good chance to do that. I love that it's an R plus 22. And again, I'm pulling numbers from the Trump 24 election. At face value, you'd think there's no way that we could lose. But the reason why it was an R plus 22 and 24 was because Donald Trump was a turnout machine.
Yep.
And a lot of you listening, this is literally your story. You usually don't vote in elections, maybe sometimes in presidential elections. You don't think that either party represents you because who knows, maybe in your lifetime, both of the parties didn't represent you that well. And here's my appeal to you. If you're one of those once every 5, once every 10, once every 20-year voters who came up for Trump because Trump represented you, I have two arguments for you. Number one, Matt is a Turning Point style congressman who could actually get in there and shake things up, who would be a tremendous ally for Trump. Trump knows this. He's running the free world, and he's doing teletown halls and events and all these things for Matt.
He was just tweeting about it seconds ago.
Yeah, didn't he tweet for the first time in like a month?
Yep.
So Trump sees the same things that I'm seeing in Matt. And secondly, let's say that you don't believe me. You don't believe me. You don't believe Trump on point one. Do you want to see Afton Bain on the news every couple of days as the face of the Democrat Party in Tennessee for the next 10, 20 years?
Absolutely not. It's going to come down to voter turnout. Voter turnout. Secretary Hargett has said we're seeing a lot of strong interest, high turnout for a special election. Voters aren't letting the wintry weather stop them. We'll talk to Matt Van Epps, see what he's seeing on the campaign trail today. When we return, Matt Van Epps joins the show along with Josh Tifo, Turning Point Action Senior Director. More on the way. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a crash. It is partially blocking the off-ramp 24 westbound to go westbound on Briley Parkway North. You got 3 tractor trailers involved in this crash. Well, this is Election Day here in Middle Tennessee, at least for some of us. Voters in the 7th Congressional District have a choice between conservative Republican Matt Van Epps, progressive Democrat Afton Bain, a handful of other candidates claiming to be independent. Secretary of State Trey Hargett's office says they're seeing a lot of strong interest, high turnout for this special election. He says voters are not letting the wintry weather stop them. A Democrat hasn't held this seat for more than 40 years, but in recent weeks, Afton Bain has started to close the gap on Republican Matt Van Epps, according to some polling. Ben Siegel is the ABC News deputy political director. Here's his take.
A Democratic win is unlikely,
but it would be a massive earthquake. Still, a competitive loss could be a warning sign for Republicans, and both parties have dumped millions of dollars of advertising into this race. The president himself said the world is watching the results in Tennessee this week, and we've seen the president, the Speaker of the House, former Vice President Kamala Harris all rally for their parties in this race.
Now, Kamala Harris came to promote her book, never once mentioning Afton Bain by name, and they didn't appear on stage together. Be sure you're eligible to vote if you haven't already done so. Apparently, some voters are confusing Metro Council District 7 with Congressional District 7. You can check your eligibility to vote in today's special election at the govotn.gov website. Just fill in your address to find out. Well, a new study in the journal Pediatrics may have parents thinking twice about getting their kids a smartphone for Christmas.
The authors of a study published in Pediatrics acknowledge that a phone can be a lifeline connecting you with your child. At the same time, kids under 12 who had a phone were more likely to be obese, depressed, or sleep deprived. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel says,
"We need to be thinking about their health, potential addictive behavior, and how owning a smartphone might affect their long-term health."
regardless of pressure from the child, society, or the companies that make and sell smartphones. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show is live on all the streaming platforms, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch the show as well. Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. Josh Tifo is in studio. Tifo Tuesday. He's the Senior Director for Turning Point Action. Welcome back to the show. As always, Josh, how we doing, man?
That's great to be here. It's a big day for Tennessee, big day for the nation.
It's a huge day, and we actually have another guest joining us on the hotline. He's a very busy man today. Matt Van Epps is on the line. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, Chris. Hey, I'm doing great. Hey, Josh. Great to be on with y'all.
Man, how's your day been so far? Are you able to enjoy any of this, or are you just biting your nails? How does this work?
You know, Chris, I approach this like a military operation. It's not done until we're finally complete here. So we're pushing hard. We were on Fox and Friends early this morning, and we've been in Williamson County. We're heading to Montgomery County. We're visiting as many polls as we can, talking to as many folks. This is really straightforward today. We need all Republicans, all freedom-loving Americans to get out and vote for Matt Van Epps. This is too important. The race is we're up. We're up in early voting, but we need everyone to get out to ensure that we win today, that we win with the biggest margin we can. And I'm asking everyone to stand with us in doing that.
So, Matt, here's where we are now. I mean, obviously, it's an R+22 district. The reason why Trump did so well was because of his appeal to a lot of everyday working Americans who often feel like both parties don't represent them. What is your appeal to that guy right now who's listening at work, who may not have the time to vote after, and you're trying to convince him to make the time, somebody who has voted once or twice in the last 20 years? Why should that guy vote for you when he usually doesn't trust both parties?
Absolutely. Well, I think it starts with my background. It's a background in service and leadership. I come from humble beginnings. Neither my mom or dad went to college, but they fought really hard to get our family into the middle class. It's something I'll never forget. My dad was a Vietnam veteran, the biggest patriot and conservative that I ever knew. And my brother and I are both West Point graduates from their hard work and effort. And after West Point went on to serve in the Army as a combat helicopter pilot, went on to lead small businesses in Nashville, served in Tennessee state government, still in the National Guard, I will always fight every single day like we've never earned this. And that's real-world boots-on-the-ground leadership experience. And then I think the second thing is that the difference between me and my opponent could not be more clear. We are for faith, family, and freedom. We want low taxes, less regulations, less government. We want to empower people, families, farmers, military and veterans. We stand with law enforcement. I love Nashville. I love country music, and that's we're gonna fight hard for all 14 counties in this district. My opponent wants higher and new taxes to fund a socialist agenda that will skyrocket our cost of living. She's been endorsed by the Democratic Socialists of America. She wants transgender surgery for minors without parental consent. I mean, it's crazy far left, and it's not the values of Tennessee or of America.
No, it's not the values of Tennessee at all. And I don't think Afton Bain even really recognizes that she lives in this state. She's completely backwards. Did you expect, as you're going through the primary process, I mean, it was a heated primary, and you get here to the general, did you expect that the eyes of the nation would be on this election, or did you think it was kind of going to be a little bit more low-key?
Yeah, I'm not sure that I expected the level of the eyes of the nation, maybe. It's been an amazing experience. Speaker Johnson was with me all day yesterday. I think we went to 10 events. We were in 6 counties. That was just a great day. What a great patriot and leader. I'm so grateful for his time. And then we both were on with the president last night on a tele-rally, and just being endorsed by the president, having his support, the speakers, and then over 50 local leaders across our 14 counties. I mean, it's just been humbling. I mean, those are county mayors, highway superintendents, farmers, business leaders. I mean, it's truly been just an amazing experience, and I'm humbled by the outpouring of support that we've received, and I'll never forget it. I will work hard, tirelessly, every single day to effectively represent our district, our state, and our country.
So, Matt, here's what I've seen over the last 11 years that I've been at Turning Point. A lot of guys, they talk a good game, and then they get up to D.C., and after hearing all the most wonderful things at the campaign events, they sell out the American people. They want leadership positions. They essentially don't stand for the people who put them in office. I'm very thankful that Lee Beeman connected us before this big, crazy race, and we were able to spend some personal time together. And this is why I support you. This is my pitch to all of you voters out there who may not show up in special elections. Matt has got that dog in him. I spent time with him, and I know that he's the real deal. I know that he is the type of man who is going to go up there and fight. And the first chance that he has to sell all of you out so that he can gain some position, gain some power, pick up some lobbyist support, I know he's going to say no. So, Matt, you have earned my respect. And I know that you will earn the respect of every Tennessean you spend time with, because that's who you are. I've seen your character.
Josh, I'm so grateful for that. It means so much to me. I'm so thankful for everything you do with Turning Point. Just an amazing organization, and I just that truly means so much to me. And it's the fight and the perseverance, the grit that we're going to take every single day to fight on behalf of working families, of farmers, veterans, military, law enforcement. I mean, that's what we're taking forward. And if I can just talk for just a minute on law enforcement, because I met with 25 sheriffs and chiefs just a couple weeks ago. Met with them very early on in the primary, and I'm so thankful for them for protecting our communities, our families. And you look at my opponent who wants to defund the police, abolish prisons, who as a sitting state legislator was out filming, harassing, and bullying ICE and the Tennessee Highway Patrol. It's absolutely inexcusable. It's disqualifying. It's not leadership. And it's just the opposite of what we stand for. The people that keep us safe, that allow us to thrive. And I'm just so grateful for law enforcement, first responders, and we'll fight so hard for them.
What does the rest of the day look like for you, as this is the biggest day of your political career? Are you hunkered down at headquarters? Are you traveling around? Yeah. What does the game plan on Election Day look like for Matt Van Epps?
Absolutely. We are out and about. We did that first. We did Fox and Friends this morning at 5 a.m. And we've been out since then. We're traveling right now up to Montgomery County, and we're going to be at a couple of locations there, and then we're going to continue on and be with as many voters at as many locations, taking the message out as we run through the tape here until the polls close at 7 p.m.
Let's go.
So, Matt, one more question. Give the audience a web address to go to find their polling location so they can vote for you after work today.
Absolutely. So if you can go to our website, mattfortn.com. That's Matt, FORTN.com. And it has all of the information that you need out there to find your polling location. It has a link to the Tennessee Secretary of State's website for any election information, more information about me and about the issues. That's mattfortn.com. And please, I need everybody out there today. It's cold, but it's not raining. It's not snowing. It's just a little cold. So bundle up, be safe, make a plan to get out either now at lunchtime or after work tonight. Your vote is going to be the vote that matters in this. And this is literally about the direction we want to take our country towards freedom and America first, towards faith, family, and freedom, or towards socialism. And that's not, we stand for faith, family, and freedom. That's the direction we have to move. And I'm just asking everyone to please come out and stand with us today as we get this mission done.
And Matt, one more thing I want to mention. Thank you for your service flying helicopters for our country in the Middle East. Some of the stories you told me from your time over there are really incredible. So for all of you saying, hey, it's a little cold, do I want to go to the polls? This man was flying choppers out in the Middle East so you can be free. I think you can stand in line for 10 minutes after work. Please do that for Matt.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Josh, thank you. Chris, thank you. Honored to be on with you today. Thanks for what you all do. And we're going to bring this thing home today.
Hey, best of luck, man. We're rooting for you and we're praying for you, and we're hoping for a flawless victory, just an annihilation of Afton Bain at the polls today. So good luck, and we'll talk to you next time we talk to you. Hopefully, it's Congressman-elect Matt Van Epps.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Excited to be back on again. Thank you all so much.
Hey, appreciate you, Matt Van Epps. Everybody, go find a place to vote today. If Matt didn't sell you, maybe you're a simpler guy. You're more like me. Maybe you just want to make a liberal salty, and that's what you need. That's enough motivation for me if I was in Williamson County to get out there and vote District 7.
So here's the only way Afton Bain wins. The only way she wins is if there are lots of people who say, wow, she sucks. I like Matt. But this isn't R+22. Like, there's no way he loses.
It's voter turnout.
And that type of thing happens all the time in special elections. People are just way less likely statistically to show up for special elections. It really comes down to who cares more. And this is what the left is doing We don't know a lot about it directly yet. We probably will in the future when we see financial forms and disclosures and everything. I bet the left is spending tens of millions of dollars on voter turnout, especially downtown. Some of it might be legit, some of it might be fraudulent, because they want to build a national narrative that the left is surging going into 2026. So I would bet money that the left is spending tens of millions of dollars to juice voter turnout amongst every crazy person who hates Matt Van Epps in downtown Nashville. So what's the only way to win? It's for all of you to show up to the polls after work and vote for Matt Van Epps.
Or during your lunch break right now. Make sure you get out there. A lot of people are saying that the lines are moving quick, steady flow all day, but you can get in and out. Go vote on your lunch break. What does a total victory look like in your opinion? I mean, because even if it's a close loss, I imagine that the left is still going to use that to their advantage. They're still going to use that to the narrative push, as you said, that they're surging for 2026.
They'll try to, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you ain't first, you're last. Nobody cares if 2 years from now, we're not going to care if he won by a little or won by a lot. We just want to make absolutely sure that he wins. So yes, a huge demonstrable victory would be amazing. It'd be great to take a victory lap. But in 2 months, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to care about the vote margin. They're going to care about who won. So here's my challenge to everybody listening. You have a chance to be part of not just Tennessee history, but American history. You get to stop the left's first step towards building momentum in the 2026 midterms by defeating Afton Bain today. You get to be part of modern American history.
What did you think about Kamala Harris not rubbing elbows with Afton Bain when she was in town?
So it doesn't surprise me because Afton's probably going to lose, and Kamala already has enough of the losing energy. But that actually goes into a bigger thing. I don't understand why Kamala's doing anything publicly. She ran one of the worst presidential campaigns in American history, not modern American history, like the history of Western society.
However,
she should be holed up in a vacation home the rest of her life.
It was the best campaign that we've ever seen from a black female vice president. Ever. And
what an encouraging angle to look at it from.
Like that? You like that? I like saying things like that. But she's got 107 days, the book. So she's like, hey, let me tell you how I started with $2 billion and ended up $20 million in debt. You can do it too.
Well, this actually goes into an amazing political principle. You cannot outspend the power of grassroots low prop voter turnout. So for those of you who aren't political nerds like me and Chris, low prop is the term that political consultants use and that campaigns use to talk about people who don't always vote.
Low propensity.
Low propensity. So this is what happens when almost everybody votes who isn't always voting every single cycle. Somebody who votes every third election or every fourth election. When those people show up, you can spend $2 billion. You can spend $10 billion. You can spend $20 billion. You can just throw cash at people to vote, and the left cannot win. The left cannot win when everyday working Americans who are not always Republican voters show up to defeat evil. And let's call a spade a spade. Afton Bain represents evil in Tennessee. That is not something that we should tolerate. If you let evil tolerate, evil will dominate. If this woman wants to defund the police, if this woman wants trans surgeries for kids, if this woman is out there mocking ICE agents, then is that a foothold you want to give evil in Tennessee? I think it's already unfortunate that she's a state rep. Let's find a way to fix that. Let's find a way to kick her out of that seat. But first, let's make sure she's not getting a promotion. So here's my pitch to you as a voter. Do you care enough to fight evil in your state? We're not asking you to pick up a gun and march to the front lines. We're asking you to wait in a cold line for 7 minutes.
Yep.
Can you do that for your country?
I love the narrative from leftists. So with this special election going on, we've had an influx of leftist listeners, and I'm grateful for them. Listen, stick around long enough, maybe we can convert you, and we're open to that. But I get this text that says, "This is hilarious. Afton has y'all scared." And this has been a narrative that they've been pushing, like, "Ooh, Donald Trump's involved. Ooh, Mike Johnson's involved. They must be spooked." And it's like, it's the only election going on right now. We have a razor-thin majority. Like, yes, we need to win this election. But why wouldn't you carry the same nonsense over to the side that's bringing out Al Gore? You're breaking out Al Gore. You're breaking out Jasmine Crockett. You're breaking out AOC. And they're only doing Zoom meetings with potential voters.
I love that you just found a way to give Al Gore a shout-out. So I forgot he was still around. So.
I couldn't believe that they wheeled him out. I'm like, the guy that invented the internet, what are you doing here? Go home. But I don't think anybody's scared. Do you think any conservatives are scared?
No, nobody's scared, but here's why I love that Trump and Johnson are spending time and energy and effort and focus. And I give Johnson great credit for coming out yesterday and campaigning all day. He's got a lot going on.
Yep.
It's because they take evil seriously. This is not about being scared of a political outcome. This is about taking evil seriously. And somebody who represents some dark, maniacal evil in our political system, especially transing the kids. If anybody stands for transing the kids, that's not a political issue. That's a spiritual issue. It's deeply dark, deeply demonic. Anybody who is even entertaining that idea does not deserve any place in our political system, not just in Tennessee, but in the country. It's unfortunate she's a state rep. Let's fix that later. But I applaud Trump and I applaud Johnson for taking this seriously. It's not that they're scared. It's that they take evil seriously, and they don't want evil gaining a foothold in Tennessee.
You're absolutely right. 11:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Afton Bain here. Many of you have been part of my story. I was someone who always wanted to get out of East Tennessee. Let's show the entire country what police abolition looks like, that we can do it. I took that fight statewide for bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers. Now I'm running for Congress because I hate the city. As a state representative in Tennessee, I don't want children, I want power. I'm Afton Bain. And I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here. And this Christmas, how about you give the gift of real security? I'm so excited that these guys came on. New sponsor of the show, Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. And they are going to help you give your family something meaningful this Christmas. This is a veteran-owned Christian family business. They provide real security for real Tennessee families. Their gun safes protect firearms, but they also safeguard jewelry, family heirlooms, birth certificates, passports, old family photos, anything that you don't want to lose in a fire or via theft. Aaron Parker owns the business, former Air Force security officer, park ranger. He knows exactly what a safe needs to do to protect your home. And Aaron and his sons handle everything. They do the delivery. They do the installation themselves. These guys are discreet. They're professional. And they stand on principle. One of Aaron's sons actually left the military because he didn't want to be forced to take a COVID jab. I know that doesn't really have anything to do with safes, but it tells you everything you need to know about the family that's running this business. And now through the end of December, if you mention the Chris Hand Show, you're going to get a free gift with your new safe, something every gun owner can use and appreciate. Call these guys today. They're the best in the business. 931-842-6445. 931-842-6445. This Christmas, protect what matters most. ParkerSafes.com.
It is election day for parts of Middle Tennessee, the 7th Congressional District special election, and there appears to be some confusion in parts of Davidson County. Some voters mistaking this 7th District with the Metro 7th District. We'll tell you about that at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. Mason Fleming is producing. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Josh Tifo, Turning Point Action Senior Director, is in studio. Tifo Tuesday. We're having a good time. And Josh, he's like, let's open the phone lines. Let's talk to the people.
Let's have some fun. I want the trickiest, nastiest questions.
615-737-9986. We'll open the phone lines up to you on the way. It is a special election today. Matt Van Epps, Afton Bain. I've played this a couple times, but it's my favorite piece of audio. It is the new Afton Bain commercial that should be making the rounds everywhere as she tells her own story in her own words. Yo, I need some audio.
Many of you have been part of my story. I was someone who always wanted to get out of East Tennessee. Let's show the entire country what police abolition looks like, that, we can do it. I took that fight statewide.
For bullying the ICE vehicles and state troopers.
Now I'm running for Congress because
I hate the city.
as a state representative in Tennessee,
I don't want children, I want power.
I'm Afton Bain. And
I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently.
The GOP actually put that together, and they did an awesome job.
Whoever did that, well done. Like that's some premium content.
It's super good, and it perfectly illustrates exactly who Afton Bain is. On the way, we'll open up the phone lines for you guys. Josh wants to take your questions, 615-737-9986, and we'll talk about a bunch of things. I want to get your opinion on the terror attack that we saw, the response from the Trump administration, also what's happening in Minnesota. And more when we get back. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Brief me on the Somali.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. It is election day in parts of Middle Tennessee. The weather, not a factor, according to Secretary of State Trey Hargett's office, which says voter interest and turnout so far is strong. Meanwhile, there's some confusion in Davidson County where some voters are mistaking Metro Council District 7 with Congressional District 7. Elections coordinator Jeff Roberts telling Channel 4.
I'm in Congressional District 5, so I can't vote in this election either, even though I'm the administrator of elections. If you're along the borders there, Gallatin Road, Charlotte Pike, you really need to check that app to make sure you're not right there on the line.
Yeah, that app is govotetn.gov. Just fill in your address to find out. A new study in the journal Pediatrics may have parents thinking twice about getting their kids a smartphone for Christmas.
Researchers analyzed data from more than 10,500 kids, the largest long-term look at children's brain development in the U.S. to date.
Most kids by age 12 already had a smartphone. The median age was 11.
Study author Dr. Rand Barzilay found a host of physical and mental health issues among kids given a phone before age 12, including obesity and lack of sleep. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alak Patel.
We want less devices, less screens, more childhood.
Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Well, today is Giving Tuesday, where people are encouraged to give back to their favorite charities, but federal officials warn that it's also a day for scammers to take advantage of those who think they're donating to a good cause. We get more from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze with some tips to protect your money and ensure it's going to the right place.
The Federal Trade Commission is now warning about Giving Tuesday scams, where scammers convince you to donate to a fake charity, then take your money. So before you make a donation, first confirm that the charity is legitimate. The FTC says that you can go to websites like give.org or charitywatch.org, search the name of an organization there, and check that it's accredited.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Zero Res Nashville. Did you have company over for the holidays? Did you get some cranberry sauce smushed into the rug? No, you avoided. You dodged that bullet. You're unbelievable. We dodged that bullet in my house, too. And then we decided to do gingerbread houses. We weren't so lucky. Frosting everywhere. What are we going to do? I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the Maha of carpet cleaning. I'm going to call Zero Res. They use their exclusive ZR water. No harsh chemicals, no soap residue. It's going to leave my carpets looking cleaner and staying cleaner even longer. So then the 4 kids, they can roll around on the floor. I'm not stressed about the gingerbread houses anymore. It was a little nerve-wracking at the time, but I'm not going to be angry about it. I'm just going to call Zero Res. You could do the exact same thing. If you got messy carpets, and spoiler alert, your carpets are gross, call Zero Res today. These guys are the best. 4,500 Google reviews, 98% Facebook recommendations. They're the highest rated in town, and they won't break the bank. 615-535-9376. That's 615-535-9376. Or you can book online, ZeroResNashville.com. It's 11:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Mason Fleming's producing. Ken Weaver's back there in the newsroom. Josh Tifo is in studio. Tifo Tuesday. We do it every Tuesday with the senior director for Turning Point Action. We had Matt Van Epps on earlier, and we said, Josh is open to taking phone calls. You know what we got? We have a call from Terry Christie. Terry Christie is an independent candidate for the 7th Congressional District in Tennessee, and she's on the line now. What's up, Terry? You're on with Chris Hand and Josh. What's up?
Hi, Chris and Josh. I'm just calling in to let folks know that unlike the narrative that the media keeps pushing out that there are only 2 candidates, we actually have a Southern mama bear with Tennessee values. on the ballot, and that is me. I'm Terry Christie. I believe in personal liberty and property rights, and we need to get our Congress back in order. It needs to start representing the people, not the parties. So I am asking for everyone's vote.
So, Terry, I've got a question for you. Based on your policy positions, do you think that you're going to take more votes away from Ms. Bain or from Matt?
I don't think I'm taking votes away from anyone. I'm giving people a fair choice in an election. But I do believe there will be more Democrats vote for me because the Republican Party is very entrenched and it's quite fear-mongering among its members. But I hope that Republicans and Democrats will vote for me because there are good people in both parties that just want to get back to American freedom.
I tend to disagree with good people being in the Democrat Party. But who's fear-mongering in the Republican Party?
Have you watched any news? Have you heard your own radio station claiming that a vote for me is a vote against Van Epps? No, it's a vote for me. It's not against them. It's for what the people want.
So first, I applaud that you are getting involved in the political system. A lot of people love to complain. They don't love to take action. But here's what I would absolutely love based on what you've said. You're a Southern mama bear. I would love for you to come out and endorse Matt today and bolster his chances so that you can play a significant public role in defeating one of the most evil congressional candidates in the history of Tennessee elections. I really hope that you do that. Matt is a friend of mine. It is rare that I support congressional candidates. He's the real deal. Matt is somebody who is going to not just talk a good game and then show up in D.C. and then do whatever he's told. He's someone who will actually stand with us, who has a backbone. Would you consider endorsing him today on air?
Well, there's not a chance I would. The man is a rhino from Ohio. He doesn't share our values, and he doesn't come out to the forums. He does not. He's like Biden hiding in his basement is what the man's been. But he's also known as Timothy Fauci for a reason. I met a woman. She works at Walmart. She had a hair salon. That's how she supported her family. Matt Van Epps, while working in the governor's office as the COVID czar, they tend to call him, helped shut down her business, helped destroy military careers, and handed our liberty over to the hands of big business and big government.
So
that is not acceptable.
I have a question for you. So we know that Matt was one of many people who worked in the governor's office during COVID and was part of the COVID response. How do you know that he wasn't the most conservative anti-lockdown voice in that office? Because the Matt I know that's probably the case. And he's got to be careful who he's speaking out against. He's got a lot of people from the right wing of the party and the moderate wing of the party supporting him, united against Afton Bain as they should be. How do you know that Matt wasn't actually the voice of the libertarian perspective, the conservative perspective in that office?
I watched a video of him that I was able to dig up a while back ago addressing community leaders in this. So his opinion was quite clear in that. But aside from that, I think it's hogwash that our media is both are either an arm of the liberal, democratic, extreme party side of the party or the extreme right-wing side of the party that isn't even right-wing. They're all bought by billionaires. Who funded Matt Van Epps?
Well, Matt Van Epps, he has a lot of funders who are very successful in business. He has a lot of small dollar funders. He has funders all across the board because these people, if they're very moderate or very conservative, they don't want a crazy lady who stands for trans surgeries for children to even have a shot at winning a congressional race, which is why. So first off, I applaud your passion. I absolutely love that you're getting involved in the political process. Here is what I challenge you to do today. It would do great good for our state and for our society. We want you to endorse Matt today. And please post on social media, talk about how you believe that Afton Bain does not deserve to be a congresswoman based on her policy positions that do not reflect where we stand as Tennesseans. So I'll ask you the question, is there anything Afton Bain stands for that you agree with?
Afton Bain just has talking points. There's no way to know what the woman stands for, except for I can tell you I fully and wholeheartedly disagree with perverts that want to sexually mutilate children. So that woman shouldn't be in Congress. And the good thing is we have another election coming up in less than a year. So whichever one, the rhino or the lunatic, if either one of them were to get in, we can salvage it before they have an opportunity to do very much harm.
So here's a problem I have with your line of logic. You have not given me one not conservative policy position Matt holds. There's not one not conservative way he wants to represent us in Tennessee. Instead, you're just calling him a rhino. And don't get me wrong, there are lots of rhinos Republicans in name only. Matt is not one of them. I know because at Turning Point, we fight a lot of them all the time. So if somebody who's usually fighting these people is telling you that Matt is the real deal, I mean, does that mean something?
Well, I can tell you that Matt Van Epps would not come to Clarksville to the political forum that we attended there, nor one in Nashville. He's using people like you as talking heads in the media to speak for him because he has no policy positions that he's out there telling the people the truth on and facing the music like the rest of us are.
Did
and
Afton?
I'm telling you, if you want an actual woman with Southern values, you'll vote Terry Christie.
Terry, did Afton Bain go to that Clarksville event?
She did.
Oh, all right. That's fair. How'd she do?
Well, she literally hijacked words that I wrote off of my website and presented herself as an independent, not beholden to either party, and used my Southern words as if her own. So I don't care for her because she's as dishonest as Matt Van Epps.
I'm having an issue finding the dishonesty that you keep talking about. With
And
Matt Van Epps.
I respect your opinion, but I need to see some type of evidence. But regardless,
some examples,
I appreciate that you want to get involved in the political system, and I really hope that you come out and endorse Matt today.
Not going to happen. People need to vote their conscience instead of a lesser evil. Vote Terry Christie.
Well, thanks for the call, Terry.
Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it. Good luck. Best of luck. Let's go to Bonnie in Dixon. Bonnie, what's up? How are you?
After your conversation, I'm actually afraid to speak up because I'm kind of with her on that. I feel like if America's going to get a change, then it's going to start with the voters, and they should start looking at people not so much at the party that they represent, but as the person that they appear to be and say that they are, and really research what they stand for, and quit thinking, you know, I've been a Republican all my life, I got to vote Republican, or I've been a Democrat, or whatever it is. You need to be, like she said, with a clear conscience and know that the person you're picking is the person that is going to represent your values. And I, again, with her, believe that so many people that are so high up and get all this financial backing and stuff, I feel like that their interest isn't for us, and that we need to start picking people that are actually in the world doing the same types of jobs we are to get in Congress and change things for us, we the people. That's all I have to say.
And I love where your heart is, and we're actually very one-hearted when it comes to the type of people I believe should be representing us in Congress. Right. So we have to look at where we are right now. There is no statistical chance that anyone other than Matt or Afton is going to win. You have the Democrat Socialist of America and all the bad guys on one side supporting Afton. They even had Al Gore come out. And then on the other side, you have Mike Johnson, you have Donald Trump pushing for Matt. So statistically, it is a binary choice. Now, if we wanted someone other than Matt to represent our value systems, to be the face of our values in Tennessee, then the primary is when we have that fight, and we should, and it should be vicious, and that is the purity test. But when it comes down to the general, when we are facing evil, when we're facing people who want to trans kids, when we're facing people who want to abolish the police,
bully ICE,
then there are some situations where, let's say the Republicans nominate someone who's a really bad guy and will do more damage to our movement than good if elected. That's when you step back. But Matt is somebody who, from everything that I've seen personally and also with his official campaign positions, is going to be rock solid. And if he's not, then here's what I love about our situation. If he doesn't get in there and he's not rock solid, guess what? We get to pick somebody else in the next primary. We have another election coming up very soon. I have seen every marker to cause me to believe that Matt is going to be that type of leader we want. So I love your passion. I love where your heart is. And I really hope that you go out and you vote for Matt today, because based on the values you've stated, he is the person out of these two options who is going to best represent your values and your desires for Tennessee.
And I would not vote for that young lady, not ever, trust me.
That's good.
But Bonnie, I would just point out, not voting at all is essentially a vote for Afton Bain.
That's like a half vote.
Oh, no, yeah. I am voting. I'm not voting for her.
All right, you're going to go out and vote for Matt Van Epps today, Bonnie?
Yes.
I appreciate the call. Thank you.
I know we're in a predicament that it's going to take someone to change it, but I think people do need to start looking at other people that's not pushed like that. That's all I'm saying. But thank you so much.
Appreciate the call, Bonnie.
Thank you for your time.
I mean, with like you said, the primary was there for this.
Yeah, we have a whole mechanism by which this exists.
Let's go to Mike in Portland. Mike, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, guys, first of all, I want you to know that I love Turning Point USA. I really do. Charlie Kirk changed my life. Now, with that being said, I don't think that you guys gave the woman a fair shot. She had some good points. Just because Turning Point USA or Donald Trump or Speaker Johnson endorses somebody, I don't think the American public are totally going to buy it. That's like Jay-Z and Beyonce endorsing Kamala Harris.
I think that's a little different. Here's what I would say, Mike, is that Terry has had the entire campaign season. I just heard about her yesterday because she got an interview with Matt Murphy. Like, if Terry Christie is serious about running, like, she needs to do more, man. She's got to get herself a little bit more visible. As it stands right now, it's a little bit too late. We're at Election Day. And as Josh said,
correct.
Doesn't
it start somewhere?
Yeah, but at this point, it's a binary choice. It's either going to be Afton Bain or it's going to be Matt Van Epps.
And if Terry's an amazing person, I want her to build a campaign. She can challenge Matt in the primary. That's the way that it's supposed to work. But right now, statistically, we have a binary choice. And this week is the first I've heard of Terry as well. If Terry's an amazing person, then she should make her pitch to the district. She should challenge Matt in the primary. That is the way that our party works. That's the way our political system works. But right now, we have a binary choice. And if Terry's conservative, I really hope she doesn't go down in history as the person who helped Afton Baines gain some type of national platform, making it look like Tennessee is not this red state.
I don't believe that's going to happen because, it's going to be a popularity vote, of course. And, Van Epps is going to get in office. There's no doubt down here on the street level, Van Epps is going to get in office. But Terry has a good point. It has to start somewhere. Whether she gets 5 votes or 10,000 votes, whether she's irrelevant this time or next time, it has to start somewhere.
What are your big core issues that you vote on?
Basically, abortion. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually a registered independent. There's quite a few things that I do agree with the Democratic Party on, but I can't vote Democrat strictly for the abortion and the mutilation of the kids.
I respect you a lot for that.
Once the kids turn 18, man, I don't care what they do. But there's some Republicans too that I really enjoy listening to and talking to. Dr. Rand Paul, he was my eye doctor for years. I loved him, and I still do. You know what I mean? But I think it has to start somewhere.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Mike. Thanks for your input. We got time for one more call. Let's go to Matt on the road. What's up, Matt? How are you?
Hey, man. How you doing today?
Good. What do you got?
Good. So here's the issue with Matt Van Epps. So it's my opinion that Matt Van Epps was handpicked by the Republican Party. But here's something that was said just a few minutes ago about he has opinions, he has viewpoints. Matt Van Epps does not have opinions and he does not have viewpoints simply because of the UCMJ. He cannot have an opinion on things because of his position in the military, being an officer. He's a commissioned officer that it can be held against him if anything comes out to where he is against or is not in good order and discipline. That's what scares me about military officers and veterans who are retired being representatives of us, we the people.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, so listen, I voted in the primary. Matt Van Epps, I did not vote for him, but I did vote for him this time around because, again, I think the Republican Party has somewhat our best interest, but again, they do not. My outlook is freedom and family, and in the state of Tennessee, the Republican Party is the number one voter against equal shared parenting and 50-50 for the fathers in the state of Tennessee. Those are just facts. It was House Bill 1131. It was the Republicans that shot that down in the judiciary.
Let's look into that. Let's dig into that. That could be a good topic to discuss. So first off, I have so much respect for you. Patriots like you have the chance to save Tennessee today. A lot of people who may not have voted for Matt in the primary, it was a hotly contested primary, and yet you are coming out to vote against evil today. I respect you so much for the viewpoint you've taken.
Well, I mean, but again, it's evil is on both sides. And again, if you watch the judiciary hearing for House Bill 1131 earlier this year, it's the Republicans, again, who are all lawyers, who all stand to benefit from broken families, the family court system, divorce, and child court. So, again, evil is both ways. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've been fighting it for 2 years now. I spend a lot of time up at the Cordell Hall building talking to individuals, trying to get everybody on the right page. But I can't get it done because there's so much weight against it for financial gain.
Can you send me an email with the details on that situation so I can look into it? Weston at tpaction.com, WESTON at tpaction.com. I want to look into that.
Listen, brother, I'm driving right now. I will do my best. I don't know if you can text that to me, but again, I've been working hand in hand with a lot of lawmakers, and we can't get any traction. We can get no traction at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you, Matt. I'm gonna put you back on hold, and then I'll have my producer grab your number, and then we'll get that information because we want to dive into that.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Thank you for flagging that for me.
Absolutely.
Hey, appreciate you, man. All right, closing thoughts as we go down the road to Election Day. Polls close at 7:00. Stay in line if you get in line. They can't shoo you away. What do you think voters need to know, potential voters?
So here's what's so wild to me. The general spirit of a lot of the questions that we've answered today feels similar to what I answered in 16 and in 20 and in 24 defending Donald Trump. Somebody talks to me, they say, I supported Ted Cruz in the primary. I supported Marco Rubio in the primary. Why should I come out for Donald Trump? You need to zoom out and ask, what type of country do I want to live in? Do I want to live in a country where Hillary Clinton is president of the United States? Do I want to live in a country where Kamala Harris is president of the United States? You need to ask yourself, do you want to live in a district represented by Afton Bain? Do you want her to be the next AOC in our country? I certainly don't. And I'm thankful that we have primaries. Primaries are when we have the purity test, when we have the bare knuckles brawl for who should be the standard bearer for the Republican Party. We've had that bare knuckle brawl. That is not today. That has already happened. And we have a chance to do it again next cycle. So my request to all of you listening to Chris's show who are working right now, because I know, Chris, you have the best audience. We have the best. The people who actually do things in this country. So Amen. I have so much respect for you. You're the people who not just built America, who build America. You're the people who started the Trump era in this country. You're the reason why we live in such an amazing country politically, because you came out in 16 and 20 and then even more in 24, and you voted after work. And what you did superseded tens of billions of dollars of political spending from the bad guys. When the everyday working Americans vote, it supersedes billions of dollars of spending from the bad guys. We were seeing a microcosm of that today, right here in our backyard. So here's my request to you. Lunch break today, after work today, get out and vote for Matt. sos.tn.gov, sos.tn.gov. You can learn where your polling location may be. Western part of Davidson, western part of Williamson, and then about 12, 13, 14 counties west of that. You have a chance to set up the Republicans going into 2026 by staving off the left's big play, which is to spend millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to create the next AOC, the Southern AOC, and you have a chance to stop that. Chris, thank you for giving me a chance to talk about this today.
Every Tuesday, TIFO Tuesdays. Josh Tifo, Senior Director for Turning Point Action, joins us. It's 11:57. Thank you for listening today. Chad's on the way in next. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.